What is going on, guys? It's Trader Kaz. I wanted to record a quick market update video. I'll talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Link, maybe DOT. I'll talk about my sushi long that didn't go as well as planned, but that's how it goes in trading. First thing you'll notice is I changed my chart theme. I posted a poll on Twitter and in my Telegram, and there was overwhelming support for the dark theme instead of the light one. So I guess we will roll with this for now until either I get annoyed by it or decide to switch it up again. But I think it looks good, so we will jump right into it. So Bitcoin, I'm seeing two possible things on Bitcoin right now. First of all, we have, I'm going to highlight this so I can draw on a fresh chart. We've swept this high and closed below, wicked into it once, twice, three times with the close below. That was a pretty strong rejection. And now we're kind of consolidating under it a little bit. I really like this support right here, and I think that we might take out all these lows right here into that support and then continue trending. Something like that is kind of what I'm seeing. But this could be invalidated on the lower time frames. So we are trading within this range right now. I think it's pretty clear that we have been chopping around a little bit. We formed a high, formed our range low, swept the high, broke back down, swept the low, retested it, and we're pushing up. Sorry if that's getting a little messy. I still need to figure out my the new colors. The blue stands out a little more for these. But we're having trouble getting back above the mid-range. See how it's rejected here 3 times? So I don't love seeing that. That shows a lack of strength in this move right now. But I do like the retest of this range low and how that's held. So I'm not going to enter a Bitcoin long unless it can get above this range high. If you had a limit order here and you got filled, or if you caught a wick here and got filled, then that's great. But for right now, going forward, unless this flips the range high, I probably won't be in a Bitcoin long. And we also have this level right here, so it'd be kind of a double confirmation, getting above this and then getting above the range high. I think that would be a very bullish sign. But for as long as we stay below this, that's the level we swept on the 4-hour time frame. I lean towards downside. I'm not in any leverage positions right now. I'm still holding all my spot. I haven't touched any of that on alts and Bitcoin. But yeah, I do. Obviously, I prefer upside. I want to see this go up, but I'm not fully convinced yet. And then in terms of downside, where I see this going, first level I have my eyes on is this. This is 4-hour demand. Let's put some text in there. What's the best way to do this? Center, inside right. Is that good? I don't really know. I'll pull it out a little more. So that's 4-hour demand. And then we have some lows right here. These are just about equal lows, not quite. Right there, right there. So if this does start pushing down, if it breaks down there, I'll be looking for a move into this level, get back above these lows, and then I think this pushes higher. If this H4 demand does not hold, I think we come back down here to the origin of that impulse, because we still do have a pretty big gap right there. We didn't spend much time in that area, and so there just hasn't been much volume or anything. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. Pretty straightforward. Only going to long if it gets back above this range high. I'm not too interested in shorting. Maybe if I can get a clear, if it sweeps that high into there and then breaks down below here, I'd probably look for a short on the top of this range with my invalidation right there, or keep it up there to be safe, and then just target this demand level. That would probably get you, be a nice just about 3R trade. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. I think my main idea, or what I feel is most likely, is I'll just sit out until we either get above here or get a move into here. Those are my two plans going into the week. I'm not too interested in trading within this range. We could trade there for the next 24 hours, but I don't want to get chopped up in there. So that is Bitcoin. We'll talk about Ethereum now. So I was long Ethereum from this level right here in the blue. Still need to figure out what color my new rectangles are going to be. But it just hasn't, Ethereum's just been ranging a lot. ETH BTC has been really weak. This was a nice initial long, pushed up well. I took some profit, not quite at the top. I think it was more around 1850. It pulled back, didn't really do anything, held on to it, pushed back up again, and that's been pretty much it. I took the rest of my profit around here, following the sweep of that high, and now I'm just waiting. I like this level right here. I think in other conditions, a reclaim of that could be a long, but I'm just not sold on Ethereum's strength right now, and I would rather just wait. I don't love how Ethereum, like the price action on it. So I think this has been a pretty pivotal level. All my templates are for a white background, so I'm gonna have to fix those. You can see this was resistance, swept that high, resistance once again, then it held as support a few times here, broke below, resistance, 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 resistance. So that's kind of the same as my 49.6 on Bitcoin. So if Ethereum is able to get back above that, I'll look for more longs. I think invalidation is right here, so it'd be a wider stop loss. But that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I do think it's possible. If Bitcoin does pull back a little bit, since Ethereum looks so much weaker, I wouldn't be surprised if it falls lower than this. I would probably be looking right here, which I know that's it's a little bit deep of a drop. I don't know if we get there, but that is where I would long. Maybe even this level. I kind of like that one too. I'd probably look for a long setup there and just see how it plays out, not leave bids because I don't think it looks incredibly clean. But if we took out that low right into that level and then got back above Monday's mid-range, I think it'd be good to push up. But hey, maybe it doesn't drop down at all. Maybe it pushes up from here. But for me to feel more confident in that, I'd like to get above 1850. And like I've said before, I'm still holding all my Ethereum spot. I'm just no longer in this leverage long. When funding is high and, well, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. When funding's high, you kind of need to be more selective with the time that you're in your trade. It's the weekend. I wanted to relax, enjoy it a little bit, and take profit on my positions. I can always get back in later. Like this is resistance. Clearly, we deviated above it, broke down, and then you had like 3 opportunities to sell that level. There's zero reason why you shouldn't take some profit here. If it goes down, you can look to buy more or just get back in when it gets back above. Because if you don't take your profit there, you're thinking about it. You're thinking about taking profit. You don't. It drops down. You take profit down here because you get nervous that it's going to go down more. And then it gets back above. Like, it'll just mess with your emotions. So I've learned that the hard way, but I want to pay myself at resistance. And if we get back above, I pretty much enter right where I exited, but now it's a much higher probability that it continues to go higher because we're testing that level from the upside versus the downside. I don't want to hope that resistance breaks. I want to take profit and then add back on when it does break. All right, does that make sense? I don't know why I said that. I mean, I say that during streams when people can respond, but right now they can't. So that's about it for Ethereum. This is ETH BTC. This is what I wanted to see. I think I drew that when we were down here. I said I wanted to break back above this consolidation and push up, but that didn't happen. We got rejected there. So ETH BTC is looking pretty weak. We are hanging out around this weekly SR. I still think we're kind of stuck in this range. And I think it's very possible that we come and dip into this consolidation. I don't want to highlight it perfect. Like I could zoom in to find a more accurate level, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. I think if we break into that and then get back above this and get back above the weekly SR, I think the low will be in right here. And my good friend Trader SZ posted something similar. This is kind of he posted this idea and I agree with it. You can see it right here. Basically dip into that. I'm not sure if this is one of his range levels, but 0.0372, 0.0376, pretty much similar level. But for me, I think if this loses, it doesn't even need to go this low, but if we just lose this range and then get back in it and then get back above this weekly SR that lines up with the mid-range, I think the low will be in. So nice chart by SZ. If you don't follow him already, it's worth it. But that's what I'm seeing on ETH BTC, and right now I just prefer Litecoin to ETH because it literally was just ranging the entire week. So now we'll talk about Litecoin. This was the Litecoin trade I was in. We talked about this on stream, and I'll keep talking while I change some of these lines. We talked about this on stream, and I took profit yesterday. I tweeted that I was taking profit because I have a rule set for myself that if we see an hourly sweep, I need to at least take some profit. So I tweeted that update, and that was at 227, I think. Actually, I might have closed a little lower than that. 226, I think, was my average exit because I took some off on my limit order at 225. Then it dipped down a little bit right here. And when it swept that, I think that's when it was. I think it was this sweep. Let me look. Not that it matters that much, but trimmed a bit more off. Yeah, so it was after that first initial sweep right there. So a little lower than I said, 223. Actually, I don't remember. Whatever. I could check, but it's not worth checking right now. So that was what happened on Litecoin. Really great trade, but wanted to pay myself, and yeah, it was a good trade. And then I did reload some with some limit orders on this high right here. I said I was looking to reload around the 205 to 210. We got a dip to 209, so I got some fills there. But because this stopped respecting my levels well, like it was a nice reclaim, I was like, okay, I'm holding on to this. It came down. It just like completely chopped around, disrespecting this range low. And so I closed that add-on at a minimal profit, like 210 to 212, I think. No, a little more than that, 214-ish, like 2%. Anyway, just because if it's not respecting my levels, I don't want to waste my time being in when I could wait for a higher time frame opportunity. So what I think that would be is a break above 228 and 230. And then I think you ride that quickly up to 250. And that's the setup. Like, yeah, you could try and time it at the low, but with the way Bitcoin's looking, and this isn't necessarily the cleanest chart, I think it's possible it pulls back further. And because of that, I just wanted to take my profit. I am not closing spot. Some of my trading account is in spot Litecoin, but I closed the leverage position because, like I said earlier, I want to take profit at resistance on sweeps. I don't want to be holding for long while it's ranging and just take those more high probability plays. So I wanted to take profit at around this 228 level. And then whenever it gets back above it, we get back in once it's above resistance. You don't want to long it or hang on to your longs when you're right below resistance. And alternatively, I do think it's possible we see a dip down to around 190, 195. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. And we can talk about that shortly. This video is up to 15 minutes long. I didn't really expect it to be this long, but it is all good. So I think this level, this was the level I initially bid. It was 8-hour demand. Got filled here, spiked once more, got a little nervous, but had a nice entry. And so I was able to stay flexible. Dumped once more, and then we trended ever since then. Nice SR flip of this level, pushed up higher, and now we just wait and see, right? I think you can make an argument that the structure has kind of been broken here because we had this higher low from, you could say this one or this one. We swept this high, so it is kind of a higher high. It did get above, but that's not the point. The point is we broke this low, and it wasn't just a quick sweep of the low. So even if this does come back up to around here, I think the odds are it rolls over unless it can get back above these two levels. Then I think Litecoin rockets right up to 250, and I'll get on board for that. But like I've been saying a million times, it was a tough lesson to learn, but once I finally did, you take profit at resistance, you don't hope resistance breaks, and then you buy the retest of it. You can always get back on board later. When you're trading with leverage, each trade is different. It doesn't matter if you're trading Litecoin from $100 to 110 or if you're trading it from 200 to 220. What matters is your position sizing, your risk, and the risk to reward ratio, no matter where it is. Like I could have a higher reward on a trade above here if I'm more confident. Let's say we get something like this, sweeps that low and then gets above it, right? So we have invalidation right there. We enter on the retest to here, play it up to there, 2.5R. So if you're risking, let's say 2%, that'd be a 5% gain on your account if it hits target. But if you're longing here, like where's your invalidation? Probably down there. I guess you could put it here, but that's risky because it just wouldn't be as high probability of a setup. So I don't want to take, this would be a higher risk to reward. I just don't like the probability of it. So if this goes down, stops you out, then you're down 1R. Let's say you try and bid again here and it stops you out, you're down 2R. I'd rather wait for confirmation or wait for it to dip into some fresh SR levels. So what I'm watching now is, I'll clear this. I want to see what led to our move up. And I would say that is this level or this down candle right here. I guess you can highlight the whole thing if you want. This was the last down move before we pushed up and broke those highs. Okay, so I know that level is relevant. Did it touch this? Not quite. All right, that's good to know. I'm gonna close this, take this off. So we have 6-hour demand. Actually, that's technically 8. How's this look? Okay, 8-hour. Let me write that on there. And same with this, but I don't need to write that. Sorry, 6. No, 8. Yeah, this is 6. So since it barely front ran that demand, a possible long setup I'll be looking for is take out that low, get back above it, and then you can look to long here. Otherwise, I'm probably going to set some limits right here, stop loss down there. anyone who traded this move, like this is a really obvious spot to put your stop loss. I think stop losses are here, and I think stop losses are there. So if you get a stop loss into a significant demand level, that's a really bullish scenario. So I'll set some limits there and look for some longs. Obviously, it's a wider stop loss, like 6%, targeting 250. And ideally, we get this entry. I don't know why I did that. So let's say this pushes up, gives us this entry, comes up. Once it gets back above here, this is where the probability of going to 250 increases when we break above that. So you break above that, you add another position, but it's higher probability now because it's broken above that resistance level, maybe something like this. And ideally, that's how I will play it and compound that. Maybe you could even look for a compound above here, depending on how things are looking. But you always want to find out where your idea becomes a higher probability. And for me, that's if we break above this 228 to 230 region. We break above that, I think there's a much higher probability we hit 250. So that's where I would look to add on another position. But for now, this is kind of the setup. That's the default. Weird. Anyway, that's kind of the setup I'm looking for. I kind of hate that. Whatever. Yeah, and that's that. So, lastly, we can talk about Link. But actually, I don't really have as clear of a plan on Link. I just didn't look at it too much before this video. But same idea. I think if Ethereum and everything else pulls back, then you look for a sweep of this level. Otherwise, I think this is the important high to look for, or if we break above that, you look for a continuation long. So, I mean, I went into quite a bit of depth of what that all would mean for Litecoin, and it's pretty similar to Link. Like, this is the same low we're talking about as, where am I? As this one, and then this dotted line is the same as this right here. So essentially the same plans, just different coin, and I'll see what is showing some strength when the time comes. But that's pretty much it. 23 minutes. I hope that all makes sense to you guys. And I guess just to quickly recap, I'm looking for a dip early in the week unless Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and Link, whatever, give me confirmation that we're pushing up before that. And that's a break above 49.3 to 49.5. For Ethereum, that's a break above 1850. And for Litecoin, that would be a break above 228. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Excited for the new week, and we'll try and play as many high probability setups this week as we can. So talk to you guys soon.